Hello everybody, my name is Benjamin Bloom and we are live and we are hoping that the tech is going to stand up. I've got myself a new iPad, so I'm a bit confused because the camera's over there and the comments come down there. So if I look over there, just work with me or not. Make yourself known if you are in the stream tonight. We are going to talk the Championship, the latest round of games. Big weekend as ever. We've got a bottom six clash, we've got a top six clash, and we have the holy grail. We have the top two playing each other. It happens every now and then, and we're very lucky that it's going to happen sort of 17 games from the end of the season. Big caveat to this video is that the transfer window is closing in 4 hours time. So some important things could happen while I'm doing this video and certainly after this video. So what I'll do, I'll have a look tomorrow morning and we will maybe I'll do a roundup tomorrow and we'll see who's had the best transfer window in the Championship. Get your comments in down the side, particularly on the game that we are talking about. And we will, as usual, start up the top. It's Leeds versus Norwich. It's first versus second. I cannot wait. I'm going to be there. Nick says he would take a draw now. We'll talk about the context of everything, but this should be a really, really good game. Like I say, we're lucky to get first against second. Doesn't always happen, and doesn't always happen at a time when it's so important. So both teams having a little bit of a points drop off. Leeds 9 in the last 6 games, Norwich 7 in the last 6 games. But it's really set up very, very nicely. I think it's going to be a great game as well. Both Norwich and Leeds have just passed their way through all of the games. And where am I sat? I'm in the top tier of the main stand, my normal spot there. Being that I'm an Ipswich fan, how much do I want Leeds to win? The rivalry between Ipswich and Norwich is a bit pointless when Ipswich are 22 places below them. So let's hope football is the winner, as I always kind of joke. If Leeds win, they will go 6 points clear of Norwich at the top and Sheffield United in third, even if you even if Sheffield United beat Bolton. I'll talk about Jack Clark in a minute. If Norwich win, they would join Leeds on 57 points, and they would go past them on goal difference. The swing would go in Norwich's favour there. Even a 1-goal win would put Norwich top. A draw is probably what Sheffield United and West Brom fans want, but possibly Norwich fans as well, because we've said before on here, Norwich have got a quite nice run between now and the end of the season, and it was all about getting to here and being in touch with those automatic places, and they've certainly done about that. Simon says, cannot wait, should be a brilliant game. So Bielsa is at it again today. He's named his quote likely 11. So let's have a look at 4:30 and see what the actual 11 is going to be. If he is spot on with this, then Jansen's going to be back. But no Phillips. Phillips won't come back in. He'll be back from suspension. Nick says, Norwich fans don't care about finishing first, we take second. I'm sure Leeds are probably the same with that. So yeah, it looks like Leeds will have some options on the bench. And Jack Clark that someone mentioned there, Calvin Phillips will be there as well. For Norwich, the key names are still Leitner, Tetty and Closer. None of them were around last week. Maybe I know Closer went to Switzerland for his checkup, and no operation is going to be happening. They need Leitner back. I don't know whether any of them will be back. No information on that at all. John says, got to back Leeds, but a high-scoring game. We would all take that. Matt says, how can I leave Ipswich for Norwich? I'm looking after my channel this week. We know my heart is with Ipswich, but I'm at Preston, Derby. Then I'm going to be on the Talk Norwich City channel with Jack, which is brilliant. I'm sure we've got a lot of people subscribed to both of those. And then I'm doing this game. So I'm afraid I'm looking after my channel this week, but you know my heart is with Ipswich. Can we get our predictions in down the side? Leeds and Norwich certainly going to be a great game. They must be goals in it. It's sold out, so you'd make Leeds possibly slight favourites, and I suspect if Norwich can get away with a draw, they'd be very happy given the run-ins. Ben says 2-1 on there down the side. 3-2 Leeds, says Simeone. Leeds 2-1. 2-1 Leeds. 2-0 down and then claw back for a win. And Liam says 3-1. 4-1 says Chris. 2-0 Leeds. Loads of great interactions here. Liam says 2-0 Norwich. Lucy says 0-1 Norwich. Let's move on from that, but look out for that video. Should be around, God, it's a 5:30 kickoff. Don't know what time it will be up. Simon, Norwich to win in injury time. If Ipswich win, I'm a fraud, says Matt. If Ipswich win, I'll stay away for another game because that'll do me. Lots of great predictions. Let's move on to the next, which is Sheffield United at home to Bolton, which might well be a little bit more clean cut. Good draw for Sheffield United at Norwich last week. And the stats say they finished the stronger in the second half as well. Chris Wilder now has got a little bit more strength. He managed to use McGoldrick and Duffy as subs, started with Medine and Dow. So looking a lot better for them. Hold off on your predictions, guys. We'll do them at the end. We'll come back with them. Better news today. Yes, Matt. Scott Hogan has signed. So really, if I'm a Sheffield United fan, I've got to be saying, what else can they do? They don't have big transfer fees, but they've really gone for it with Medine. That's wages probably. Dowell, that's a bit of help for Mark Duffy in the 10 spot. And Hogan now, we know Hogan's making a fortune at Villa. So they're probably paying fairly well. Hogan is shot to bits. Hulk Hogan, says Leather Sandals. We're talking some Scott Hogan. He did have that purple patch with Brentford, so we'll see whether that was a bit of a flash in the pan. Decent signing, nothing to shout about, says Carpy. Hogan, Adam, has gone to Sheffield United. So what it does mean for the Blades, though, is the options they've got up front now. You have the kind of skill of McGoldrick. You've got the finishing power of Billy Sharp. Maybe a bit of movement from Hogan. Then you've got the running power of Washington and the physical presence of Medine as well. Bolton, not good away, not good anywhere really. Hogan, 60 grand a week. Wow, nice work if you can get it. They got that 92nd minute equaliser to keep them in it. That was a pretty decisive result in terms of keeping the relegation battle nice and clear. Jacob says, think Hogan might link up well with Dowell threading him through. Bolton looked poor against us, says William. The truth is that all those bottom teams are so terrible. If you look at the wins and draws, none of them, so that's 12 attempts for that bottom six, won in the past 2 weeks. So predictions in down the side for Sheffield United, Bolton. I assume this is pretty unanimously a Sheffield United win, and I'm sure Chris Wilder's at the point now where with your Duffy and McGoldrick, 3-0 says Jamie, you try and give them rests. 3-0 says John, 3-0 says William, 3-0 says H. Huss, 5-0 Red Dog, 8-1 says Matt, Andy 3-0, Simon 3-0. Everyone thinks Sheffield United are winning, which would put the pressure on those top two if they can get a draw. 6-0, 2-2. Goodness me, some big scorelines in there. Apart from Chris, thinks a 0-1 1 there. But in the main, everybody going with Sheffield United. Right, let's talk West Brom now. West Brom versus Borough. West Brom, I think, I'm a bit worried about them. I think they're about to enter this fixture Armageddon. So they drew at Brighton in the Cup. So that slots in the replay this Tuesday, which means West Brom, QPR do later. West Brom have got three-game weeks in a row. It's going to be Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday, Tuesday. If they beat Brighton, then actually that might be better because you'll take a league game out of this month and it's going to go away today. John says Borough moves in the West Brom moves in the transfer market, and Chris says talk about Jacob Murphy. We will in a minute. It's not a nice run this month as well. West Brom's next games: Borough, Brighton, Stoke, Forest, Villa, QPR, Sheffield United, Leeds. So no bottom 6 teams there, and QPR aren't fun to play against, and Villa and Forest on their day can win. Yeah, so Birmingham Live says Jacob Murphy is at West Brom having a medical at the moment. I know Harvey Barnes was really good, but at the moment it's Hal Robson-Kanu in there who seems to be better as a bench option there for West Brom. Jacob says Borough's run is tough too. Yes, I was going to get onto that. Leeds at home and Sheffield United away are the next 3 games. West Brom, Leeds, Sheffield United. So certainly looks good for those top teams. Thank you. Nice compliment on my jumper. Mr. Doran Tour, you can find on the channel talking some Nottingham Forest and Martin O'Neill. Borough still in there. John Obi McKell is arrived. Not seeing anything else yet. Possibly Assombalonga out on loan as well. They're nicely positioned in 5th, but the thing is, those last 6 games they have had Reading, Ipswich, and Millwall. And as I forget who it was pointed out in the feed. Next 3 games really hard for Borough. Could you possibly see Bristol City or someone going up above them? Albion doing a mad one today, George. Keep us filled in the transfers if anything happens. Predictions then: West Brom, Borough. 2 negative around Borough to generate any momentum. Can Borough there and go and, shall I say it, go and... Platinum says 1-1 draw there. Why the hell would Borough let Britt go? Pulis doesn't fancy him, does he? Jamie says 2-1 Borough. 1-1 Borough to shit house it. 2-1 to West Brom, says Red Dog. 2-0 West Brom. 1-0 West Brom. So interested to see 2-1 Albion, says George. 4-1 Albion. 4-0 Gale is a beast, says Matt. So interested to see what West Brom do with this big run of games. Will they fall apart or will they get a load of momentum and sweep 4th? You'd have to say 7 games for Dwight Gale in a month. That's worth at least 5 goals, isn't it? 0-0 says Jacob, and he's a Borough fan. So is Stephen, a Borough fan. He says 1-0, 2-0 West Brom. Let's move on. Let's talk Preston versus Derby. So on my travels, I will be taking this one in as well. Looking forward to going to Preston. I've never been to Preston. Vokes to Stoke. Talk to me about that in a minute when we do Stoke. So yeah, Friday night game. Preston seem to have got their transfer business out of the way early, and Potts and Stockley already making a good impact there. A few players dripping back in for Preston from that injury crisis. Yes to the Derby guys. Yes, I'll be around on Friday night. Just give us a DM on Twitter. As long as I can be on your show. There you go. Shane Preston has so many injuries, says William. Would have been a shame because that's really scuppered their season and that absolutely dreadful stuff. Derby. Rumours of Tom Huddleston to Italy. Andy King, Yusuf Malumbu, possibly if that goes. It's one of those weird up in the air ones. We've not done Forest yet, Craig. One of those weird ones where, oh, if he goes, this will happen and this will happen. You just have to wait for the dominoes to start falling. But time is running out for the transfer window. Also, possibilities that Ashley Cole might start for Derby. Right, get your predictions in. Preston versus Derby. I'm finding this one a bit tricky to call. Help me out with this one. Preston, not fun to play against. Going to be freezing cold. 2-1 to Derby. 2-1 Preston, says William. 2-2 Trigger Nation. Preston wins, says Mark. 2-1 Derby, says Red Dog. 1-1 Jamie. 3-2 Romac to Preston. 7-0 Preston, goodness me. 2-1 Derby. 2-1 Derby, just too strong for Preston. 1-1. It's quite mixed, isn't it? A few people think Preston can take it. Looking forward to seeing Alan Brown play. I'm still surprised no one ever comes in for him. 2-1 Preston, 2-2 Matt and Brian. Yeah, so we're all over the place on that one, guys. Can't really figure this one out. Right, next one is Bristol City in 7th versus Swansea in 11th. Bristol City in great form on paper here. If you throw in their FA Cup game, 6 wins on the trot. What a Lee Johnson streak this one is. Really going forward. I mentioned Aston Bolonga. That was a link this morning. I don't think anyone's having that one. Swansea last minute 3-3 against Birmingham. So they're 7 unbeaten in all competitions. McBurney as well. That's been a really good signing, hasn't it? 15 in all competitions. So he's now kind of you hit that level, you're a genuine championship upper level striker. Swansea are trimming today. Bonnie's gone off to Qatar. Leroy Fer possibly off to France. But yes, if Bielsa's laptop is to be correct, Dan James to Leeds, that might still have legs. He was really good when I went to Swansea earlier in the season. Just looks like Swansea have got a little bit more financial difficulties. Romac says Fletcher and Gusted and Aston Bolonga. I think those two out and Aston Bolonga staying in there. Swansea played well against Birmingham, says John. Their defence is terrible on set plays. Help me out here, guys. Bristol City going to continue their good run and possibly push Derby and Borough. We saw Borough had a difficult run. Chris says James has completed a medical. I wonder how much that'll go through for. That's got to be pushing 7, 8, 10 million, hasn't it, in this day and age? Help me out, guys. Bristol City to beat Swansea. Is this likely given the run and given the games in Bristol? Bristol City to clinch 6th place, says JG. I think I would slightly back Bristol City. John says draw. Yeah, William agrees. Mark agrees as well. Trigger Nation 2-1 Swansea. Matt 2-1 Bristol City. Thanks, Matt. Billy 1-0 Bristol City. So we're on. If we were betting on this, it's draw no bet, I think, and Bristol City to back them and cover your bet with draw no bet there. Let's move on. Brentford v Blackburn. Hey, I saw Brentford on Monday play Barnet. It was absolute carnage. It was brilliant. Check out my match review. It was 3-3. They look much better off now. Thomas Frank seems a bit settled. They've got a bit of an unbeaten run. 3 at the back looks to suit them. They've done their transfer business. Mepham's gone out. Unaris has gone to China today, which looks like a strange one. Assumedly a good payday for old Nico there. Blackburn, 4-game winning streak has taken them to 3 points of Derby. And we're not anymore going, Dak and Graham and Dak and Graham, because Armstrong's playing really well now. Top 10 for Blackburn would be brilliant. Get your predictions in here. Billy says 2-2, a tight one. You'd think. Unaris, I think, has a Chinese family. I'm not sure. That may be true. Says William. 2-1 Blackburn, says Simon. 1-1 says Trigger Nation. 3-2 Blackburn. Dale says draw, written all over it. 3-3 says Romac. Brentford have been unbeaten. Yes, we agree with that. 1-1, 1-1. Struggling to call this one. I think we see both teams scoring. Blackburn are quite solid. 1-1, 2-2. Blackburn to sneak it. 2-0 Brentford, says Jamie. 2-1 Rovers. Yeah, we're split on this one, aren't we? A few difficult mid-table ones there. It's interesting watching this pan out in that mid spot because it switches over all the time. Surely Villa and Forest have got enough to be at the top of that mini league, even if they don't get playoffs. Speaking of which, let's do Birmingham versus Forest. So Birmingham, as we mentioned, had that 3-3 draw with Swansea on Tuesday night. Adams got his 15th of the season. I just looked up Adams. He's only 22 as well, so I wonder what his value is. I said, McBurney's now, top functioning Championship striker. Well, then so is Adams, and probably similar age. Billy says 3-2 to Forest. I'm interested in Forest as well. Blues 4 without a win. They wouldn't want all that good work to go to waste. Cedric is fine, thanks, James. 2-2 says Simon. 1-0 Forest says Trigger Nation. Forest got their first win under Martin O'Neill. They have signed Pele, not him, on loan from Monaco. Leo Bonatini. Let me know your thoughts on Leo Bonatini. 3-0 Forest, 3-1 Forest, 3-1 Blues, 1-1. Birmingham value, Adams at 12 million. Wow, goodness me. Blues would have sold Che for 12 million if it wasn't for the embargo. Interesting. 3-0 Blues, 2-1 Forest, 2-2, 2-1 Forest. Any of my Forest people on here? Forest a bit more direct now under O'Neill. I might be... someone on Bonatini. Great season for Wolves, half a season, then fell away. I looked this up. Bonatini's last go for Wolves in that promotion season was December the 4th. So if he can do for Forest what he did in the first half of the season for Wolves. Also, what's happening to Grabban? That'd be interesting. Yeah, 12 million for... what did we say for Preston Rams? It was all over the place, wasn't it? I think most people came in at draw for the Derby guys there. William says different option to Grabban. Are they? Feel a bit similar to me. I suppose maybe Bonatini a bit better on the ball, but they're both finishers, aren't they? We'll talk about Ipswich links in a minute. What are we thinking then? We had quite a fair mix there. Birmingham are hard to beat at... has O'Neill been there long enough? I'd be back in a draw or a Birmingham win there. I don't know if I see Forest going there winning while they're still stabilising. Maybe it's for competition, says Macedonian Messi. Yeah, fair point there. Red Dog House says 2-1 Forest, and John says we don't lose too many at home. That's Blues. Right, let's go on. Reading Villa predictions down the side there. Ben says Forest 3-0. On that one, Reading Villa. I was at Villa last week. They beat Ipswich 2-1, but they look like they've dropped off a little bit since... I was really high on Villa in November, December. I thought top 4 for sure. Villa in for Leroy Fer, apparently. Graham says 5-5. It's in that. Villa seems to have been snubbed a lot. Interesting in the transfers. Maybe they're not paying out those big wages. 1-1, this is Reading Villa. I'm not going to read out these biased high-scoring ones. Billy 1-0 Villa, 3-0 Villa, 3-0 Villa. 3-1 Reading, says Jacob. 1-1 and 2-0 Villa there. Harvinder says. Tyrone Mings on loan. Still looks like Villa are cutting wages, doesn't it? Bolassi's gone. Bree to Ipswich as well. I just looked. If Bree had played against Ipswich, he could have been like one of the first players to line up against the team and play for them, play against them, and then for them the next week. That would have been an interesting quiz stat if you're a nerd like me. Grealish still not going to be back until February the 8th at home to Sheffield United. I'm going to be at that game, Villa Sheffield United, Friday the 8th. Looking forward to that. Reading going to be so annoyed. Can you have Knudsen, Jacob? Yes, for anything over £500,000. Bakuna out. Big miss for Reading, says Liam, I think. Yeah, let's talk Reading. They're going to be annoyed about that late equaliser against Bolton. You really need those 3-pointers down there. No one at all is winning. If you win 2 games in 5 down the bottom there, you will probably move up a place, but no one seems to be doing this. Reading gave debuts to Oliveira, who scored, Miyazaga, and Martinez in goal as Jose Gomez starts to sort his team out. Most of the predictions there said, Bakuna's gone permanently, has he? 3 million, interesting. That is a good price, actually, yeah. Most of the predictions seem to back Villa for an away win there. Villa aiming to reduce average age by 5 years. I think, yeah, clearing out some of the Steve Bruce playoff losing team from last season. Oliveira will pull them through. If Oliveira gets his head right, good championship level striker. He can do it. He's done it before for 2 different championship teams now. Hull versus Stoke. Help me out with this one. This one seems a hard one to call. Hull's mega streak ended last week, and they got battered 3-0 at Blackburn. Interested to see, do we think Hull, 3-1 Hull, 2-2 says Viper Gamer. Do we see Hull regressing back down? They're 13th, dropping back down into lower mid-table. 2-0 Stoke says Billy. Yes, we'll talk about Peter Crouch in a minute. 0-0 says Liam. Hull 2-1. Stoke, we thought they were lift off when they beat Leeds. William says 2-0 Hull. Mark says 4-0 Hull. So a lot of people going with Hull for the home win. Crouch after Burnley today. Has Vokes come in? Someone tell me, is that... Matt says, yeah, he has. Back to basics for Hull 1-1. Yeah, Stoke are going to be in transition for the rest of the season. No team is going to maintain that insanity forever. Probably true with Hull. 2-1 Hull. 2-2 draw, says Stephen. 4-0 Stoke, says Nick. Vokes is official. Okay, 2-1 Hull to fall off. 4-2 to Hull. Most people back in Hull in this one. Probably if they go Adkins and up and Kamikaze. Who was in for Grzycki? Was that Borough earlier today? I think no one in for Bowen as well. I suppose you look for a Premier League team. Yeah, Grzycki could yet be off for Borough. Vokes could be a good signing for Stokes. Possibly an upgrade on Crouch, being Crouch could only do sort of 20-30 minutes at a time. Right, let's move on. Wigan QPR, let me know what you think is going to happen in this one. Wigan have still got that 5-point cushion between them and the relegation zone, and the way the bottom four are playing, that's going to be fine. No one's getting anywhere near Wigan at the moment. I think this is a good signing. Vaughan out and Clark in. Whenever I see Clark play for Sheffield United, I think, you know, that guy's a nuisance. I would not like to play against him. 1-0 QPR says Villa. Billy even. 3-1 QPR says Viper Gamer. William agrees with me about Clark. Yeah, Bowen too expensive. Talking about Hull again, says Chris. Jacob is back in Wigan. QPR slipped down to 14th. No wins in 4 for them. Small squad, and they're in this West Brom kind of category now. 3 game weeks in a row. So looks interesting. Leon Clark will score if he plays, says Mr. Tutman. William says 0-0. 3-1 Wigan, 1-0 Wigan. Leon to score, says Andy. Luongo's return will be massive for QPR. Is he back this week, Billy? Let me know. 2-0 Wigan. Yeah, Wigan have been good at home, but I've seen Rangers a couple of times. They're quite hard to play against. So I wouldn't be surprised with any result in this game, home, away, or draw. Right, let's go on. Ipswich versus Sheffield Wednesday. Steve Bruce has finally landed in Sheffield Wednesday. I did a video about the rather insensitive comments by Danny Murphy and Ruud Gullit, so check that out on the channel. Sheffield Wednesday have been in quite nice form since Josh Lahukai was shown the door. Only two defeats in the last 9, Hull away and Chelsea in the Cup, so hard to beat at the moment. Ipswich bring in James Bree. William says think Bree will be a good sign, a definite upgrade on Spence. I think most Ipswich fans would agree with that. So Matt Pennington, centre-half, has been playing for Ipswich right back, and Bree and Kenlock will be able to do a bit more what Paul Lambert's asking in terms of actually being able to receive the ball and pass. And Mark says 2-2 draw. Bree's a great signing, says John. 2-1 Ipswich. Amazingly, Ipswich's home form's actually quite good. They're just, we're not sure about Pennington. Apparently not, but they're now in the situation where they've got too many loanees, so maybe, and you can't see Callum Elder missing out because there's no backup left back. Strong link with Derby and Pennington, we'll still say that. And my 6-year-old son George says 2-0 to Wednesday. Let's all go with George's prediction then. Bree will be huge for Ipswich. 4-1 to Ipswich. Come on, Jacob, that'd be nice, wouldn't it? 1-0. Iorfa off to Wednesday. We know all about Iorfa from last season. Ipswich are actually good at home. 7 points in the last 4 home games, and they should have beaten Millwall as well. It was a calamitous collapse there. Knudsen, we don't know what's happening there. He said he wants to go. He's been transfer listed and no one's in for him. Surely someone will come in with a cheeky 150 grand or something and take him at the end. Villa, possibly. Who knows? Bruce always starts first games with draws, says John. Ipswich cannot draw their home games. They really, really need to win. Borough still in for Knudsen apparently. Oh God, Pinto to Ipswich. Yeah, that was a strong link earlier today, but now Breeze come in. We can't really see that happening. Assume Pinto wouldn't have to move house. Still haven't had many Norwich players go to Ipswich though. Yeah, we've done Dan James to Leeds, I'm afraid. 5-1 to Ipswich, says Nick. God, can't see that happening. Can Ipswich get another one? If Town win, I'm a fraud. Well, I'll keep staying away if I'm there. Right, last one here. Millwall versus Rotherham. This is a big one down the bottom. Cut my hair, get lost. Do you realise how long this takes to grew? SUFC 1, 2-0 Ipswich, says Liam. Let's hope so. Yeah, Millwall, really good chance now to stick 3 points on Rotherham. That put them 7 clear with a game in hand, and surely that's safety there. 1-0 Millwall, 1-0 Rotherham, says Billy. Millwall seem to be in for a striker. If Town win, cut my hair. I'm not cutting my hair, guys. Not happening. Not happening at all. Any circumstances. 3-1 Millwall's. 2-0 Rotherham, 1-0 Millwall. Millwall Rotherham. What a great spectacle that would be. There's going to be some battering going on this game. 1-1 says Andy. 1-1. Ipswich 8 points off safety if you include the goal difference, I think. Yes, Viper Gamer, I will be at Carrow Road on February the 11th. Wouldn't miss it. Millwall look like they're in the market for a big striker. Gested has rejected it. There might be something in Matt Smith from QPR. Millwall 2, Rotherham 0, says Nick. 1-1. Rotherham still not in the bottom 3 though. One win in 14 with 17 to play. Not good form for Rotherham. They don't want to lose Volks or anyone today in the transfer window. Most people they're going with Millwall. There was a couple of questions. I'll take questions from the feed as well, as long as they're not about my hair. Piers asks, Piers BCFC, I always get asked this. Will you continue making Ipswich content with the Championship? I'm going to try my best to do both. I can't stop doing either, so we'll just see how it goes. Hey, they might not go down. Blades have added well to the strike force, says David McKendry. Medine, Dowell and Hogan. Looks like they're giving it a go. I agree. Sam says, will I be providing live transfer updates? I've tried my best. We will see how many of them transpire. Preview show, Matt for Ipswich will try and get that up before tomorrow morning. Any other questions in the feed, I'll take them right now. I will plug Preston Derby review, that'll be out Friday night. I'm going to be on Talk Norwich City with Jack, which is a great channel. I'm sure a lot of us watch their work. That'll come out soon. Thanks, Simon. And Leeds Norwich. I can't wait for this game. I hope it's not it can't be a drab 0-0 with those two sides the way they've been playing. Oliver says Brentford 2, Blackburn 0. What's your 3-game tip for the weekend? God, I haven't got the fixtures in front of me, so I'll plead the fifth on that. If Norwich or Leeds missed out on the automatics, would they walk the playoffs or fall flat? You would think they would have a pretty good chance in the playoffs, those two, and they're both going to be in there. Will there be any more beef with the TNC? I don't know if there's going to be there. No, I'm friends with Chris. He's good. Some of that was just for the cameras. Thanks, Rich. I'm not abandoning Ipswich, Matt. I'm just away for the weekend. Hey, I'm going to miss another couple of these. I'm missing Reading at home, and I'm missing Hull at home for Ipswich as well. Do I think the Blades will go up? I think they've done absolutely everything they can with these new signings. They might just get pipped by Norwich. Can't see them catching Leeds, and it's just so interesting. If West Brom can batter their way through this horrible month of 7 games in, how says Matt, money. I have to make a living, Matt. Sometimes I have to miss football matches. I'd love to be at all of them, but I cannot be, I'm afraid. Yeah, West Brom could batter their way through. I just don't know, but surely Sheffield United, out of all those teams up there, must be the most proud. No parachute money, no Premier League wages. I hope Leeds Norwich 4 Reds says. See you for a prawn sandwich at Villa. I'm in the Trinity Road at Villa if anyone's in there next week. Simon says respects Chris Wilder's passion and commitment. I think there's a bit of a misconception about Chris Wilder. They think because he can be a bit of a shithouse that his team is, but they're absolutely not. They're a great team. They play really good football. Leeds will finish. Blaze will finish top 2. Interesting. Right. I'm going to say thank you to everybody for watching. So sorry about Sunday. What a fiasco that was. We've got a new iPad. It's worked a treat today. And fingers crossed it's going to be great for all the feeds. So going to be back on Sunday morning to review the Championship action. Thank you everybody for watching. Follow me on Twitter at Benjamin Bloom. Subscribe, comment, etc. See you Sunday morning. Check out all the reviews. Preston, Derby, Leeds, Norwich on Jack's channel as well. And then Blue Monday without me because I'm not at the Ipswich game on Sunday.